Hi guys, Weir here. Martial arts is my background, is my main source of business. What I want to be passing on today is not about what you do, developing in martial arts. I want to know how you actually stick in training, longevity in sports, health and fitness. It's the greatest thing I've ever come across. I remember I started off just generating fitness, running around the block with my mother, just running a lot, and came across boxing, which exerted me a little bit further, and I loved the combat sport, and I thought that was it. I found my calling. Beyond that, my mum didn't enjoy it. The head contact, the damage that could happen, is all focused on headshots only. Being a nurse, she had that concern. So I eventually went across, because I knew someone was training with boxing in a boxing gym, and for Taekwondo, martial arts. So I veered off into Taekwondo, which again led me on to further my career into semi-contact, full contact, MMA and so forth. But it's like, that's how my journey started, being straight. But it's always about martial arts. And I think the biggest thing for me is to realise that there is more than just one art, one way of fighting, one way of developing. And I was quite lucky, because each time I tend to not get bored, but get tedious, get repetitious. Everything's about the same thing. You're running regularly, you're doing the same sort of things, cycling, press-ups, exercises are the same. You might hit the bag. The idea for me is to find more ways of developing, and more ways to keep my interest as well. And when I do one thing I liked was extreme sports. So I sort of developed myself towards the extreme sports direction, which was made it even more interesting. Because through martial arts, I could see my physical development, and it allowed me to be able to apply myself to other sports and other interests. So main thing beyond this, I want to explain the different ways you can keep your interest in martial arts, is to realise that beyond martial arts, it's also about applying yourself to other sports, other health and fitness areas, disciplines. And I think this will be the key source, beyond everything I'm going to tell you, to stay fit for life.
When you're training, you've got different things to stop you from getting any boredom setting in. Think about it, the more you do stuff, the more you're going to, say one technique, you're going to plateau, you're going to get to that point where you're so proficient on it, and it just stays there. And it's one or two things will happen. When you get to that point, the technique will either get to a point, you'll get that technique off the point where you get bored and it'll go back downhill, or you keep trying to perfect it, keep trying to change it, keep trying to make it more effective. While you're doing that, again guys, you're supposed to have two areas. Besides what your strength is, you're supposed to work on your weakness. And what happens with each position to stop you getting bored, so imagine that you try to work on your attacking ability of a certain combination, certain kick, certain punch, see how good you can work on it. Besides that, you've got stuff like you can use on from distance, and also close quarter distance with kickboxing. Sometimes you can try and pick people up or pick people out on a movement, on a side movement, and also you can try to learn to pick people while you're moving, or to learn to slip and counter. So that's the areas on the stand-up. When it gets to the clinch, you can work on different things. You can work for the clinch, for the strike, a clinch to sort of hold and tie up, and again taken apart with knees, or even the odd little elbow, but no one causes a break. From there is a takedown. When you take someone down, it's positioning. That's against the cage. But on the grappling itself, you can have a thing where you're pinning someone on the floor, and it can be working for how well you can hold someone. Again, when someone holds you down, how well can you escape? And when you're escaping, remember there's multiple positions. There's a mount, side position, cross body, north-south, the rear. So these are positions you can be working on. On top of that, you can try to maintain. When you maintain a position, once you maintain a position, is whether you can slowly progress to a finish, which is probably the next stage after that. For finishing, if you can't finish very well, what happens is, imagine someone's too good, then you have to learn to see if you can outstrike a person from that position, soften them up, break them down mentally as well as physically. Again, on all that is making sure you maintain your cardio. And I think if you've got to work on these things, you can never stop learning, never stop growing. And again, it's working on different people with long limbs, people with short limbs. Short and stocky, strong and hard to manoeuvre and move. And you got long people that wrap legs around like an octopus, so you can wrap around your neck, your body locks, body triangles. These are the things you can be working on at each position. And it should stop you from getting stale. if you really, really want to get into the martial arts and stay getting on now, and you're past that point, you can start going into the weapons. You can start going to immobilizations and self-defense, practicing that sort of area. And I think you should never, ever really allow yourself to get bored. Once you get bored, the only way is down.
Hopefully you never get bored, you never lose. Remember, health and fitness is for life. Without health, you have nothing. Remember, the fountain youth is sweat. Work hard, sweat more, and stay young.